Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Stock Market Show. This is your host, Shades. New Year right around the corner. Stock market coming on down nice and cheap. I'm going to show you the quantum computing ETF that follows the price movement of quantum computing stocks as a whole. The ticker is QTUM, so, quantum. You pull back on the chart, and what do you see? Let's look at the weekly. What do you see? Over the long term, quantum computing stocks have been performing very well. They continue to go higher and higher. We switch to the monthly. You'll notice this hype cycle was actually the steepest uptrend we've ever had. And we go in cycles, right? Huge run up because people get all hyped up about quantum computing. Then we drop nice and cheap before the next big run again. This has been happening since 2019. This is almost like NVIDIA. NVIDIA, you look at the monthly chart, what do you see? NVIDIA runs up, pulls back eventually. This is the monthly chart, by the way, so these are monthly charts, just to be clear. These are monthly candles. And look at this huge run up we had here from a low of $10 to $150 for a nice 15x. So why am I making this comparison between quantum computing stocks and NVIDIA? Well, I don't know about you guys, but it looks to me like quantum computing, it only has one direction to go in, and that's up. Yes, there are going to be big red candles going all the way down. Again, this is the monthly chart, so these, for a whole month, we just kept going lower and lower and lower. But ultimately, the big picture is that quantum computing stocks are set to perform very well over the course of 5 to 10, 20, 30 years. But things don't go straight up. I made a video yesterday saying, be very careful, stocks don't go up forever. If they start coming down, they eventually come down nice and cheap, and that's when you want to load up. You did not want to load up big at 53 because then it came down as low as 34. You did not want to load up big, hopefully at 90 you did not load up big, because then it's going to come down. Who knows where it's going to settle, but it's going to come down nice and cheap. It's going to take a nice big dip here on the monthly. This is the monthly. If we look at the daily, the smaller time frame, you see there's going to be plenty of opportunities to add on dips, add cheaper, add almost at 50% off. Again, this is the ETF that keeps track of quantum computing stocks as a whole. Okay, tracks the performance of quantum computing stock as a whole, just like the MAGS 7 keeps track of the Magnificent 7. That's why it's called MAGS 7, or MAGS. MAGS right here. So, with relation to RGTI, and we switch back to the weekly here to get a good look at what's been happening here, RGTI has finally been discovered. And that discovery has led the stock from lows of under $1 to highs of 1935. People are finally starting to catch on and realize the potential of quantum computing stocks. A lot of this was hype, so expect a lot of red, a lot of downside. And it will eventually settle into a new trading range where you can buy nice and cheap. I've shown this pattern already in my previous video. I'm not going to go over it, but I will say you see just red everywhere. Red is bleeding out. This quantum stock bleeding out 20%, 11%, 6%. RIGETTI and IonQ, one of the better quantum stocks. Surprise, surprise, they're not down 20% just yet. We'll see what happens with those. But I'm not surprised that they're not dumping as hard as the other ones because they have the better financials and the better partnerships. Or they actually do have revenues, for that matter. Because I think QUBT is the one that does it. Its revenues are suspicious, and pretty sure they have to constantly do share offerings to stay afloat, is what it seemed like. But RGTI, know what you hold. Hopefully you didn't, get too overconfident and start chasing tops. I always tell people if you're going to chase, have a stop loss to protect yourself because that prevents you from holding a big bag up here and then it starts coming down. I mean, this could drop 50% of its price. I kid you not. It can. I've seen it before. If Nvidia can drop, yeah, if Nvidia can drop, if it can drop from $36 to 10, almost a fourth of its price, only to then run to 150 in the bull market, only to then give you a nice 15x in the bull market. If Nvidia can do it, I promise you, RGTI can do it too. So I hope you're not holding any big positions up there at the top there, because it's looking like a top. This is the most bearish couple of days we've had, and let's see if the new year brings the volume and brings buyers. But once sellers take control, we all know what's going to happen. Let's not pretend otherwise. If buyers don't show up and sellers take control, they're just going to push it down. And we don't. People have been asking me, hey, where do you think this is going to settle? Well, fundamentally, the company is great. We know that, but on the charts, if you ask me, hey, where do you think this is going to settle down? We have to wait for the market to reveal that to us. I can't predict where. Maybe it's going to be at $11, maybe 12. I don't know. You always have to wait for it to happen. Wait for it to bottom out. It will bottom out. It will get cheaper, and it'll be an opportunity to add more. There are going to be people who tell you, "Oh no, this is going to come back to $1," and no, it's not. That's not happening. It's not. It can retrace maybe 75% of its move, but quantum computing is the future. There's no denying that. And there are going to be a lot of people who are going to hold long term because they believe in the vision. And I just showed you that quantum computing as a whole, over the long term since 2019, that's a pretty steep uptrend. And in that steep uptrend, it pulls back eventually because things don't go up forever. They eventually pull back. Again, these are monthly candles. These are monthly candles. So it took almost a year. This whole downside here was a whole year. It was a whole year of just downside for quantum computing as a whole. And then look at that. Huge skyrocketing action. So it's basically like Nvidia, right? Nvidia came down nice and cheap, ran to 150. Quantum computing came down nice and cheap, had a huge run up. It's going to come down nice and cheap, going to have another cycle. Keep an eye on QTUM. It's a good indicator of how quantum computing is performing as a whole. Because it keeps tracks of the individual stocks within a package. But with relation to RGTI, again, the company itself is fine. The financials are good. Great partnerships. More to come in 2025. A lot of these quantum computing stocks, we're talking about how big 2025 is going to be. And as long as you're buying the good ones with revenues and partnerships with Amazon, Azure, Microsoft, etc., I think you're going to be fine. Long term, you're going to be fine. Short term, if you're looking to get the best bang for your buck, because that's what I'm about. I'm a cheapskate. Give me the best bang for my buck. I'm not buying up here. Give it to me at 10, 12, 8. I don't know where it's going to settle, but wherever it is, you better believe I'm going to be there. I'm going to be on top of it. I'm going to be looking to buy cheap. And today I learned in my Discord via Patreon, I learned that my audience is half Gen X and half millennials. And I've noticed that millennials are the ones that like buying tops and holding a bag for some reason. And Gen X is a little smarter. They're willing to be patient. They're willing to exercise discipline. Millennials, they seem kind of like they want to have things handed to them. Like they just want to put money in the markets and please give me $1 million. And I don't know why that is. I don't know why they are that way. So it's kind of weird that I have like an audience that's half millennials and half Gen X. Because like you guys who are Gen X, you probably have kids that are millennials. So maybe you might know why they are that way. But I've met a lot of new millennials in the Discord that have been joining, and they're harder to work with compared to Gen X. Because they don't have that patience and discipline. They just want to get rich quick because they don't want to work or whatever. Whereas Gen X is more than happy to take their time and put in the effort and study to get good at trading the stock market. That's just a difference I've noticed recently with the influx of subscribers and Discord members that have been joining through Patreon. Not saying millennials are bad or anything. They're just harder to work with because they're not willing to listen sometimes. And I'm like, oh my god, if you just listen to me, it's gonna come down nice and cheap. That's when you want to buy. You do not want to buy if pizza slices had surge pricing, and you saw a slice of pizza at $40. Would you really buy it? Probably not. I wouldn't. I'd be like, you want me to pay $40 for a slice of pizza? Screw you. I'll wait for it to come down nice and cheap to $5, and then I'll buy my slice. Hell, I'll have five, and put some in the freezer. So when it goes to 40, I'll sell those slices for like 20. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess surge pricing would help with me trading pizza for some reason. I don't know why I'm trading pizza at this point, but just as an example, right? Just as an example. So don't be the sucker that buys pizza at $40 per slice. Wait for it to come down cheap. I don't know where it's going to settle. People have been asking me so many questions, and I'm like, I how am I supposed to know? Look, I'm not a genius. I'm just a guy who uses common sense. There's going to be tops. There's going to be bottoms. This is looking like the top. The market has been bleeding day after day. Nvidia, you know what's really nasty? Bitcoin is green today, barely, but the market is red, which is a disconnect. That's a disconnect. When you see Bitcoin is green, if crypto is green but the stock market is red, that's a warning sign that we could be potentially entering a bear market very soon. Nvidia has failed to create highs after going from 10 to 150. I want you to think about that. Imagine seeing Nvidia go from $10 to 150, and then it stops creating highs. In order to get to 150 from $10, it had to continue to create highs. Now it's stopped. That's a warning sign that, hey, we could be entering a bear market. I'm not saying it's going to happen. These are warning signs, but it might just be a fake out and we continue the bull run, right? But I'm just saying, like, these are warning signs. Keep, what's the word I'm looking for? Keep your feet on the ground. No, keep your toes. Stay on your toes. You know what I'm saying? Stay on your toes. Stay on your toes. The market rewards people who have patience and discipline. So shout out to the Gen X uh, members, and shout out to the Gen X audience. You guys are uh, easier to work with. Like, I don't want to insult millennials because I'm a millennial, but like, you guys are easier to work with. Millennials, they don't want to listen. They get cocky and overconfident, and then they blow up eventually. That's usually the case. But anyways, Rigetti, long term, I like it, but I'm waiting for cheap. And if we go into a bear market, which there's a lot of signs out there, if we go into a bear market, I oh my god, I'm going to add, like, you can't imagine. I've been waiting for a bear market for 2 years now. I want another one because I like when stock gets real cheap. So again, if you don't have QTUM on your watch list, add it. Keep an eye on this one. Again, it tracks the performance of quantum computing stocks as a whole, and it gives you good insight here. Like I said, quantum computing is the future. Is anyone surprised that the quantum computing ETF that keeps track of the performance of quantum computing, is anyone surprised that it's gone from 17 to 90 over the long term? It's performing well over the long term since the existence of this ETF. Hell, if you don't want to buy a specific stock, if you don't want a stock pick, you can just buy the ETF and take advantage of the future, because the future is AI. It is quantum computing, and you're getting in early. So nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The only thing that's changed is people are going to take profits, and it's going to come down nice and cheap. And if you're smart, you're going to wait for it that bottom, and you're going to buy it. I have to make a color video too, telling people, okay, guys, relax. Like, so many people have been reaching out to me saying, "Oh my God, what do I do? I bought at the top. What do you do? You learn from your mistake and you get better, right?" Like, I've noticed millennials, they want to get to master rank without going from bronze to silver to gold, platinum, diamond. Like, they don't want to put in the work. They just want to be master level. Let me put it this way: they want to be master level players in the market without putting in the work. But if you put in the work, you will be rewarded, and you will be a master rank player in the market. To put it that way, I don't know why I'm using gaming terms, but sure. But that's, like, I don't know. That's just something I've noticed with millennials. This video is just me becoming about making fun of millennials. But Gen X, on the other hand, they understand that. They understand I have to go through these ranks, take some beatings, take some lumps, to eventually become that, master level, top 10%, player in the markets who understands stocks go up, they come down, don't buy the top. If you're going to chase the top, it's kind of like poker, right? You got to know when to hold them, when to fold them. Got to know when to go big, when to go small, when to call out the market's bluff, when to walk away from the table. And that's it for the video, guys. Every video I make, like I said, I try to make it like a lesson, like you walk away learning something. But let me know, Gen X. Let me know why do millennials act like this? Like they tend to be the ones that want to like get rich quick, so they don't have to work. Are they really just that lazy, or like that desperate? I don't know. It's insane how many millennials I've met this year that they are willing to take huge risks, don't want to put in the work to be good enough to make money without having to destroy themselves in the process. Whereas Gen X is more than happy to study and put in the work. Someone Gen X, let me know why your children are like this, please. I mean, I can only assume it's because they're lazy because I'm lazy. I promise you, I'm a millennial. I'm lazy. So I'm assuming it's because they're lazy and don't want to work. Anyways, enough talk. Company looking great. Let it come down nice and cheap. I will tell you when I buy. I will be buying. If I don't buy RGTI directly, then I might just buy the QTUM here as well.